And we're a year away now from the Super Bowl here in Houston. It's on Fox. But what needs to happen for the city to be ready? Among the biggest threats, homegrown terrorists like those who killed 14 and wounded 22 in San Bernardino. It's one reason Harris County has a team of observers absorbing the countermeasures deployed at Sunday's game in San Francisco. Here at home, Senator John Cornyn called on the largest Muslim population of any state to help protect their community from attack by the radicalized. Texas has the largest Muslim population of any state, and Cornyn says that can be an asset.
The Muslim community can be the front line of identifying potential problems before they occur.
And security, transit, beautification, that's all what we're talking about this half hour when we look ahead to Super Bowl 51. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page and on Twitter. Use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom is our panel led by our senior legal analyst Chris Tritico, our news analyst Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. So what do you guys think, talking about security first, and specifically about what Senator Cornyn said?
You know, I want to thank Senator Cornyn for saying to the Muslim community, why don't you join with us? Why don't we include you in the solution instead of spending all of our time demonizing you and trying to put you out? It's the right move. It's the right thing to do, to say to the Muslim community who's not radical, who doesn't want to attack our country, who doesn't want to kill our citizens, help us and join with us in fighting against those people who want to do harm. More power to him. As we move forward, the city getting ready for Super Bowl 51, preparations are already underway. The security issue, probably for any Super Bowl, is the #1 security priority, Jackie Bally, because the whole world's looking at you, and if you have something like that, a terror attack, it's going to, I don't know how you ever recover from that.
Sure, and we're heightened, our senses are heightened because of what happened in San Bernardino. Things like no-fly zone, no drone zone, those are things that are going to be implemented. I also want to applaud Senator Cornyn. He has a huge following in the Muslim community, and so he will be a good person to talk to a lot of the leaders, because there are many Muslims who are not radical and do not want to see anything happen to their fellow brother and sister. So I think this is a good way, a good start to talking points.
That press conference, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I can't remember. That press conference, the first time I've heard any elected official in this country say to the Muslim community, join with us and help us.
Well, I think President Obama visited a mosque last week as well. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, the FBI and Muslim community have been working for for over a decade. I worked for the Department of Homeland Security as a consultant from 2005, 2008. Worked for the National Counterterrorism Center. Look, FBI has announced there are 15,000 FBI agents. They have 15,000 partners in the Muslim American community. Most of the terrorist things that have been thwarted through tips from the community. So there's a long-standing bridge. Unfortunately, not everybody recognizes that, and Senator Cornyn should be commended for doing that.
As we move forward, the first time we had the Super Bowl 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I can't remember. It was a huge success.
It was.
It's still being touted as one of the best Super Bowls put on by a city ever. How do we top that, and how much money should the city be willing to invest to put on a Super Bowl?
Well, we should definitely put a sound investment, because think about it, we're going to have many people coming here, some for the first time, and they will see some things that people would never affiliate with Houston. We have a large art community. We have a lot of galleries, not only within our city itself, but we have Galveston. We have other neighboring cities that they can come to. So this is something that will help us in economic development in the future. So investing now for our future is very important.
Mayor Turner said last week that the Super Bowl alone will be a $500 million economic impact to the city. Assuming that that's true, how much money are we willing to spend to get that $500 million?
Well, we've put in a significant amount of investment in our stadiums. So this is the first biggest investment we made, because if you didn't have those stadiums, you would not be able to attract the Super Bowl, not once, but twice. So the taxpayers have done their fair share. I think this is going to bring a lot of economic development to our area. And there were a lot of people when we were building these stadiums that stood around and said, maybe we shouldn't do it, and this is going to be a big burn down. But you brought the Super Bowl twice, and you were going to deem the rewards for doing that a long time ago.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, let's turn the attention a little bit to the Astrodome. That's what folks on Twitter have been talking about this week as we get ready to welcome the Super Bowl here. Stephen says, please make him stop talking about Judge Ed Emmett. He actually this week suggested an Astrodome light show, a very interesting suggestion. He basically floated the idea of a projected light show on the exterior of the Astrodome to coincide with this Super Bowl as we continue to wrestle with what to do with it. And Paltira says, hey, if we can find a way to preserve the most significant building in the city's history, why not do it? What do you think? Are we going to have any type of solution in a year with the Astrodome?
Why would we suspect that's going to happen?
After waiting this long?
No, there's not going to be any solution to that because there's no good answer that anyone wants to hear about what to do with the Astrodome. The simple fact of the matter is it is too big to turn into a hotel. It's too big to turn into an entertainment venue like people have suggested. We don't have legalized gambling, so you can't turn it into the world's biggest casino. It's just this big building sitting there falling apart.
But it's the eighth wonder of the world.
Well, that's what we call it, yeah. And look, I love the Astrodome. I was there right after it opened.
Sure. If it's based on comments we're hearing from Judge Ed Emmett, we will keep the Astrodome will be preserved. He's looking at different studies. We've seen this. We've spoken on it on the show several times. He wants to use it as a multi-use facility. A mixed-use facility. What that really means, we don't know yet. But there is a plan that's coming, and believe me, he's going to make sure that we preserve the Astrodome.
Astrodome Plan 488 coming up.
Look, I think Judge Emmett should be commended, right? A lot of times people look at complicated problems and walk away taking a soundbite pot shot. Here's a guy, a local elected official, who's doing everything he can to save a national monument.
And I agree with that. You know, Ed, I make fun of it, but Judge Emmett has tirelessly worked to try to save the Astrodome and find a workable plan for the Astrodome, and I do applaud him for that.